Is that type of week again. We just received a brand new Grow Garden update, and values have been changing, and we got a bunch of new pets. It's been a hot second since I made a updated value guide video. So, of course, in today's video, I'm going to go over the value of basically all the main pets you should be trading for and the pets you'll mainly come across. Now, if this video sounds interesting, please make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, turn on those post notifications, and now let's get into the video. Now, I am always actively trading in the game, always looking at what values are, converting what the values are to actually real life dollars, what they are actually selling for, and the demand. Because rarity and demand will cross cancel each other. So when you look at these values, you may disagree with them, but these are what the overall community values these pets at. Alright, and now our beginning starting pet that's going to kind of be the baseline for all the pets on here is going to be the dragonfly. It is in C tier. The dragonfly has taken an insane decrease in value. It's not even funny. Now, you can still trade dragonflies for good pets, but it's hard to trade up these dragonflies, which we'll talk about in a second. But what are dragonflies good for? Well, dragonflies are good for when you need a couple kois, a couple seals, a couple brontos. You can trade that dragonfly to get them because you can still build up with the dragonflies, but it just takes a lot more now. And when I mean a lot more, well, let's view it this way. Dragonflies have taken like a 30% decrease in value. So, essentially, 3 dragonflies or 3 old dragonflies is more like 4 of the new valued dragonflies. A little complicated, but that is where it is sitting at in C tier. Now, above the dragonfly is going to be the T-Rex and the Mimic. 2 Mimics on here, but that's okay. But yeah, so the Mimic is worth a little more than T-Rex. T-Rex is worth more than the dragonfly. And the difference between these two is noticeable. It is a little more, it's not as much as a D tier pet, but dragonfly is just so overshadowed by the butterfly, which is just so much better. And with the dragonfly basically just losing value, people just want the butterfly more. Now, all the pets, or most of the pets on this list, even the Mimic, even the T-Rex, and even the Dragonfly, have all taken a decrease in value with shekel trading back in the game. People use kois and seals, but mainly for the Dragonfly. Not only that, the reason why it's standing out a little more is actually because bug eggs have been getting stocked like crazy. They have a decent percent chance. I would say they have I would say they have a 20% chance of hatching a dragonfly if they get all the eggs on just one account. You could get a bunch of accounts, getting the bug eggs, and boom, that's a lot of dragonflies coming into circulation. Up in B tier, we have the Wisp. The Wisp has okay amount of demand. However, you have to find the right person. You find a rich player, he wasn't able to get them, he sees them, he might actually pay a Spino for them. But I would value them over the Mimic. And there is about a D tier pet in between a Mimic and a Wisp, but you just exactly have to find the right person. Next up, we have the Butterfly sitting in A tier. It is worth about 4 dragonflies to a butterfly. However, not many people would do that, mainly because that's just a downgrade, and people want to be upgrading their butterflies into the next pet, the raccoon. Which it's the raccoon. We know the price always fluctuates, but right now it is sitting at about 3 butterflies or 2 butterflies and good ads. Now, we're going to keep building up. We got the Kitsune now, and the Kitsune is worth, a ton of dragonflies. Remember, I'm saying they're worth a ton of dragonflies. Let's do some math here. 4 times 3. Kitsune is worth about 24 dragonflies. However, you would never want to do that trade because you can't do that trade in one sitting. And when I mean one sitting, I mean you can only put 12 pets in the trading menu. So you wouldn't want to actually do that trade because you could lose out on half its value. Now, 24 dragonflies, I would say, is the bare minimum. I would say about 12 dragonflies or good divine pets to a raccoon. Next up, we have a sneaky, valuable pet, the barn owl, which is right behind the T-Rex, actually, right now. I see some people trying to get, their 3 barn owls or a dragonfly for 3 barn owls. Don't do that. As of the making of this video, which is a little bit after the event has came out, it's actually 8:45 p.m. EST right now, so I have understood the values a little bit and can anticipate the value of the new pets, but the barn owl is still holding strong and it's valued much, much more than the swan due to its extremely useful ability. Next up, we have the common huge pet, which I would say is around a dragonfly. That's what you should be trying to get. A dragonfly, mimic, T-Rex. I would take a barn owl. These aren't good. Huge is where useful ability, where its ability of being huge is actually beneficial. Like a golden lab. Okay, it digs up seeds, whatever. It is probably the best out of the 3 pets in the common egg. However, it just doesn't have a super useful ability, and it's overshadowed by the Shiba Inu, which is worth probably like a mimic in ads. And guys, just so you guys know, I am going to be making a huge pet value list. I know no YouTuber has made one yet, and I feel like this is just something that's very, very much needed. And I'll have like raccoons and kitsunes on there as base value, just so you kind of know what pets you should be like trading for certain huges. But back into these pets, we have the red panda, which I'd value a little over a mimic right now. You could argue it's worth a Spino, but no one's going to be giving that. I'm being realistic. I see some people wanting 2 mimics, but no one is actually paying that out because they know they'll eventually get one. So I would set it at just above a mimic. If you can trade your red panda for a mimic, you are making a good trade. Because last week, many YouTubers were talking about the space squirrel, saying, oh, it was worth, I don't know, a Spino or whatever, and then gets that immediate drop. So if you can just get that red panda for a mimic now, you'll know you'll be fine in the future. But speaking of space squirrel, it is down D tier. I can't trade them for anything. No one really wants them, which is actually surprising due to it actually giving a really good mutation. But I believe after this event, it will skyrocket in value. Next pet we have is the Spinosaurus, which is worth a little more than a Wisp, about a D tier pet difference. And the Spinosaurus has a pretty good ability. I would say about 3 dragonflies to a Spino, which fairly good. Like, the Spino is still holding up value despite the seal and coys. It hasn't taken such a hard hit like the Mimic, T-Rex, and Dragonfly. Now we have the base normal swan. I would say it's a little above a space squirrel, and you'll see something very surprising. And it might not actually be that surprising to some, but the barn owl, which is a 1 in 60, you could say, when the swan is a 1 in 100 from the same egg, the barn owl is actually worth more than the swan, just because the barn owl has a much, much more beneficial ability, and it's an ability that can be used endlessly, and there are so many different ways to use it. While the swan, yes, there's a bunch of different ways to use it, but it's only really good if someone you are friends with or someone you are on a server with actually has a good pet of themselves. And that is something you're going to be noticing with the Pachyosaurus, which I would say is worth about a dragonfly. Actually, I'm going to put it just below dragonfly. I have not seen as many people looking for them lately since the enchanted glimmering event has been over in Grow Garden, but they still hold up good value, which doesn't make any sense why it would be worth anywhere close to a dragonfly. It is super easy to hatch, but the reason why it has the value it does have is because people use the seal and koi method. They sell their pets with seals, and this was basically something you would sell to try to get the Spinosaurus, which is worth more. And that's when we get the Brontosaurus, which is very high D tier, and it's coming closer and closer each trading guide to the T-Rex. Even though the T-Rex is much more difficult to hatch, the Brontosaurus was sold a bunch with seals. Now, the same cannot be said with the Dilophosaurus or Dilophosaurus, whatever you want to call it. I do occasionally see people trading their dragonfly for like 3 to 5 Dilos, which I would say is a pretty even trade, but there's much, much better XP farming methods in the game, and I will be making a video of the best XP farming methods in the game to get those level 50 pets, max level pets, with those sweet rainbow, ascended, golden, whatever mutations you want. Speaking of leveling up pets, we have the blood owl, which used to be a pretty good way to level up pets. But there's an 100% better pet out there called the wisp. And the wisp overshadows the blood owl. I would say the blood owl is nearly useless right now, but you'll still find people still wanting them, so I'll still keep it on this list. However, if you're going against someone who's experienced or knowledgeable, they are not going to want a blood owl. Next up, we have a seal. A seal, I would say, is about 3 to a dragonfly. 3 to 5 to a dragonfly, just because it depends on the size of the seals. I would say about 3 pretty decent-sized seals to a dragonfly, or like 5, or like 4 to 5 smaller ones. And that applies also to the koi. You want good-sized koi. You want good-sized brontosauruses, because it will actually do its ability better. Now, kois are interesting. They are worth, I would say, right behind the swan in value. But what's really interesting is I've seen multiple people in the last few days wanting high-level kois. 4 high-level kois, so max-level kois, for their butterfly, which is actually really insane. So that's just a little tip, guys. If you want to gain value quick and easy, you want to mutate your pets. The mutations you want to get are gold, rainbow, and mega. Don't really worry about ascendant. That's not actually really in demand. It's gold, rainbow, and mega. Those are the mutations everybody wants on their pets. Now, they also want high-level pets too. So that's just a really simple way to gain a lot of value, is just by doing that. Now we have the queen bee sitting just, I would say, above the Pachyllevosaurus, not by much. But the queen bee, I would say a common huge is worth more than a queen bee. But the queen bee is coming very close to the dragonfly, like it used to be a long time ago, where you could exchange a queen bee and mimic and it would be fine. Cockatrice, yep, it has no one I ever see wanting a cockatrice. Same with the griffin. Same with the golden goose. Same with the brain rot pets. They are all worth basically nothing, but I would say griffin's worth the least. Because even people in public servers who don't know anything don't want a griffin, and that is saying something. Now the phoenix, I would say, is worth more than a swan. The phoenix actually has a really good ability, and I'm surprised by what it's valued at. I didn't think the phoenix was super easy to obtain, so I'm actually surprised that it is not worth around the dragonfly, because I think it is a fairly good pet with a good ability. However, you do need a full team of 8. Personally, I would trade my butterfly for a full team of 8 of them to just use that, for example, as like a benchmark. Bald eagle right behind the Bronto, super useful pet. You want to try to get rainbow or high age on it, very good pet. Sitting above the butterfly is the fennec fox. Basically, there is about a dragonfly and a D tier pet. Difference between the fennec fox and the butterfly. Now we got the turtle and polar bear, which has an interesting story to it. And I'm going to talk about all the pets that you need in the pet achievements. I'm talking about a golden brown mouse. I'm talking about polar bear. I'm talking about turtle. I'm talking about all those pretty, well, not super common pets. And that also means pets that are around the age of 99. Because if you don't know, there's an achievement called get 100 or get 3 pets to age 100. People are comfortable paying dragonflies for these. You got enough polar bears, I would say 2 polar bears or a polar bear and turtle, you can probably get yourself a dragonfly. So I'm putting the turtle above the cockatrice, above the golden goose, above all those pets. It is not the best ability, pretty useless abilities for both of them, but they are needed for the pet achievements. Next up, we got the disco bee, which is 2 butterflies to a disco bee, or about 8 dragonflies to a disco bee, which is actually really crazy. It felt very like it was the other day that it was like 6 or 5 to 6 to it. But yeah, values have changed. French fry ferret is a complicated pet. I have been able to trade 2 capybaras for a French fry ferret. Yeah, that was a pretty big dub by me. But French fry ferret, if it is a 2 kg to 2.5 kg French fry ferret, that's about a dragonfly T-Rex mimic. Now, let's say we get that, I don't know, to rainbow max level. We're talking butterfly fennec fox, kind of disco bee area. I've seen multiple times people 2.5 kg base, rainbow level 100 for those French fry ferrets with those factors I just said for the red kitsune. That's just an example of how high-level pets with the rainbow mutation have some insane value. But the average French fry ferret is a little less than this one. And I'm going to move the koi up just in front of it. So that, yeah, I like how that looks. Lobster thermidor behind the French fry ferret. Above the space squirrel, though. Lobster, I see people wanting it. Good mutation. Now we have 3 more pets left. Don't mind the extra French fry ferret and mimic. But we have our giant pets. Our giant pets are the brand new egg shop pet, where it is a 1% chance of rolling a giant pet egg, where you can get a giant mutated pet. Works very similar to the rainbow hatch pets. The giant pets, I'm talking about the giant swan and the giant barn owl, is worth above a kitsune. The other ones, I'm not super sure where it's worth. You kind of just need to do your best judgment. But keep in mind, if it's a common giant pet, I would take anything that is a Spino and up for it. So keep that in mind. Now we have our useful Titanic pets, like the Titanic sea turtle, Titanic capybara, Titanic peacock, meerkat. That type of stuff, worth multiple kitsunes. Insane value right there. And last but not least is our rainbow hatch pets. If it's just a normal rainbow hatch pet, it can be worth a couple of kitsunes or possibly just a butterfly, depending on what type of rainbow hatch pet it is. Now, if this is a Titanic huge rainbow hatch pet, then there's obviously going to be so much more value to it. But your basic rainbow hatch pet can be worth between Spinosaurus and like 2 kitsunes. Oh, and yeah, that is it for today's video. But I did want to show you what I got. I got the rainbow mutation on my semi-Titanic sea turtle, and it is just going crazy. Yeah, 20-second cooldowns with a toy. Pretty good. Some people said it was an L, but I feel like it was a W, and it was always one of my dream pets. Now I'm just trying to age up basic size peacocks to get the rainbow mutation because they're actually better than most people think. But that is it for today's video on the new and approved pet value guide. This will be coming out Sunday morning. Hopefully will be the newest and most updated value guide out there right now. And I hope a lot of people are able to see it. If you made it this far into the video, please comment down rainbow sea turtle. Because I want to see who actually makes it to the end and who just, watches the first 30 seconds and then quits the video. As always, guys, if you found this video helpful, please make sure to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for my huge pet value video coming soon. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.